What is eye dominance? Does it really matter to shooting? And how do I figure out what's my dominant eye? Let's talk about all that. Hey everybody, this is Mike with Personal Protection Academy. What's your dominant eye? Does it match your dominant hand? Do you not know? Do you have a clue what I'm talking about? Well, if you're a shooter, this should be important to you. So let's stop right here for a second. I'm an advocate of keeping both eyes open in defensive shooting. That being said, I also like to teach new shooters to use their dominant eye only to begin with in their shooting. So here's why it's important. So you need to know what your dominant eye is for shooting for accuracy. But let's explore the concept of why does this matter? So it turns out a greater than majority of people in the world are same side dominant, which in my case, I would be that. I'm a right-handed shooter with a dominant right eye. There's a super minority of people who you can't figure out what their eye dominance is because of binocular vision, monovision, and surgeries and lenses and all kinds of stuff. Let's not talk about that right now. Let's talk about the other minority, the group that encompasses about 25 or 30% of the humans on the planet, and that is cross-eye dominance. That is, in my case, I would be right hand dominant, left eye dominant. Would make me cross-eye dominant. Now, don't worry, we don't have to get you a little yellow school bus or a little helmet to wear all the time. It just means that's the eye your brain chooses. Your brain likes that eye to be dominant, and then you can choose your handedness. You can become ambidextrous or left or right. You can change that. You're never going to change your eye dominance. There's a lot of wrong things that come with cross-eye dominance. I have heard instructors say if you've got a new shooter, you just force them to be same side dominant because they're new shooters anyways and it doesn't matter. No, that's not how it works. You want your defensive shooting to be natural and reactive, and that's going to be with your dominant eye. Then I've heard people say, well, you want to tilt your head to the side. So if I'm right-handed and left eye dominant, then I would tilt my head this way, close my non-dominant eye, and aim in this way. But except that's not a natural position to be in, and we want to teach natural positions when it comes to defensive shooting. I've also heard people say, well, you close your non-dominant eye and then you cant your gun 45 degrees so that it goes to your non-dominant eye. Nope, that's not natural either. Well, Mike, how do I figure out what my dominant eye is? And this is what I do with folks. So I have myself stand about 10 yards away from the shooter, and I tell the shooter, keep both eyes open, take your dominant thumb and cover my nose with it. And so I'm covering the camera lens, and so you're getting the same effect. What I see from the instructor perspective is that me as the dominant right eye dominant shooter, you see my right thumb, my dominant thumb covering my right eye. If I were cross-eye dominant, like about 25% of the populace, it would look like this. I would be having my thumb cover my left eye. So does it matter? It does. It does matter because you have to know where to shoot from. Sometimes I'll see people in that little test I just gave. I try to tell them not what I'm doing, and they go back and forth and they try to figure out which eye is their dominant eye. You're thinking too much about it. Both eyes open, don't close either eye. Raise your dominant thumb and cover my nose. And again, in this case, I'm covering the camera lens, and so it looks like what you see from your perspective is my right thumb covers my right eye. So it matters so that we know how shooters should shoot. So get your dominance figured out and adjust your shooting as necessary. And you'll see, we'll talk in a later video about the concept of 2D vision versus 3D vision and the dominant eye and why it all matters to shooters. Really interesting biological stuff, but for now you know how to figure out your dominant eye, and now you know how to shoot with a non-dominant eye or cross-dominant eye. And you would have the same situation would be you'd usually have left-handed shooters with left eyes and right-handed shooters with right eyes, but those cross-dominant shooters, you're safe for now. We've figured out how to identify what your eye dominance is and how to shoot properly as a cross-dominant shooter. There it is, folks. What do you think? Are you cross-eye dominant? Are you same side dominant, or are you one of those super minorities that we just can't figure out what you are? And how do you do it? Leave the comments down below. Talk to you later. See you on the range. Bye-bye.